What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. How we doing today, Casino?
I forgot there was sports on last night. So, yeah, no, I'm doing good. My mind's going crazy. It's fantastic. I think I started. Oh, nice. That's wonderful.
I'm supporting our sponsor.
Oh, very nice. Well, showing up French fries. Thank you, man. I got to get my cholesterol in control. It's actually through the roof. So I've been eating Insta Oats every morning. And oh, I know.
Why not just regular oats?
Well, no, not even Insta Oats. They're overnight oats. So you put the milk. I have almond milks. I know your favorite thing, almonds. If you guys want, BJ will do an almond rant for you one day. But
it's just I don't get why we need almonds.
Yeah, and then I'm putting like this oat pack, and you shake it up and you put it in the fridge overnight, and you wake up the next morning and you eat it. You like drink it.
That sounds fucking disgusting.
Oh no, I've gagged every single time, but it's texture maybe. Honestly, the flavor is okay. The flavor is actually pretty okay. I had a blueberry cobbler this morning, and yesterday was like a mocha one. The flavors are actually pretty all right. I would give those like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. They're really not bad. It's the texture of cold overnight oats sitting in milk all night.
I'm gonna edit around all the parts where you mention oatmeal and just leave in the gagging texture and the coldness and just put that into, and then who knows what you could be talking about, but it's definitely not going to be oatmeal.
Yeah, and then still seeing you with those McDonald's French fries wants me to punch you in the dick. So,
I mean, they're delicious. I didn't even want French fries, but my wife's grandma brought them home, and here we are. But we're also here to not just talk about oatmeal, French fries, cold textures, and gagging. We're here to talk about some sports, Casino, and we're gonna get into our NFL picks right now, but start week off 9 on the right foot for daddy over here, because last night you picked the Titans, I picked the Steelers. I did not watch 1 second of this game.
Yeah,
and I know you also did not.
I made the pick. I made the pick. What, I don't know. It was like going into the third or something like that.
Yeah. Which, full disclosure, if the Titans did win, I would have disqualified that pick because you made it so late.
Were they even winning at the time? Were they even winning at the time? I don't even know.
I don't know either, but that would have been my cause for disqualification. But because they lost, it stands. That pick stands. It's valid. And Daddy's starting the week 1-0. Except we're going to do a short casino fantasy corner right here. George Pickens last night on my team got less than a point. So thank you, George Pickens, for my 0.90 points. And then I did a big trade, which I don't feel very confident about looking back on it. But my team's still in first place. I always get to the championship and then lose 4 years running.
I might not even make the playoffs. I'm first out on the playoffs. I'm 4-4, and I'm getting wrecked this week. Again, 12-man league with a extra OP. So, like, yeah. And then with all these players getting hurt, like, you have the team that you were drafted with, and again, I was 11th, and then so I had no luck on the waiver wire at all.
Yeah,
so that's been fun. But yeah, no, I keep going through injuries and more injuries and trades. Like Dobbs was doing pretty all right, but then all of a sudden, he gets traded over to Minnesota, which I think is good for him in the long run. But he's not gonna. I don't think he's starting. He's not gonna get much time.
Well, no, I think he is starting in Minnesota because Cousins is out.
Yeah, but I think I don't remember. They're putting in their backup, I believe.
But let's see. I traded away.
Was it? Is it? No, I don't remember. I don't remember.
But what is it? I traded away Dameon Pierce, the Texans running back, who's completely fucked me this entire season. Even though in first place, that was such a waste of a pick. I traded him I traded Ayuk from the 49ers, and then I traded Myers from the Raiders because the Raiders and 49ers, I don't know what's going to happen with their quarterback. I got scared. I traded it for 2 running backs, the Broncos running back and Brian Robinson. But I still have A.J. Brown, Metcalf, Pickens, and McLaurin. So I feel like I just had an abundance of wide receivers, and I literally just have DeAndre Swift and no other running back. So I think it's a good.
Well, it's nice to actually have a running back because I don't have one.
Dude, I mean, I literally had Pierce and Swift, and Pierce was getting me like 5 points a game, and he's their literal starting running back.
I have Ramondre Stevenson, their starting running back, and he's not done anything. I mean, I had Chubb, and he got injured. I tried to get Ford, couldn't get him. Picked up Hunt because he came back to the team. So Hunt's my number 2 running back. After that, do I have McKinnon? He hasn't done shit. And then I have Justice Hill for the Ravens, but he's very, 12, 6, 5, 9. Like, he's not putting up the big numbers.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I was fine with 5 wide receivers, and then George Pickens lays a fat egg in his first game since this trade I made. So everything's looking good. I will definitely lose this week unless AJ Brown goes off. But let's move over from that exciting fantasy corner casino
to. You just sprung it on me, man. I didn't know.
I just had to pull it because it was just on my mind. But let's talk about, so last night in a game neither of us watched, the Tennessee Titans lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers 20-16. I don't know. We have nothing to really talk about on that game. We'll recap it when we recap all the games.
At 5-3. Are we wrong about the Steelers?
Yes. No. Well, we both said they'd make the playoffs. I think they might make the playoffs, but I don't think they're a good team. I don't trust them. I don't. Kenny Pickett just seems like he's regressed. Yesterday, he threw 19 completions out of 30 attempts for 160 yards. Like, that's not. That's.
And you know what's
nothing.
funny is I should have picked the Steelers because I mean last pod I talked about Will Levis. Like, I thought that was like, once in a, that was a one-time thing. I didn't think he was, and he didn't. Yeah, I mean, he didn't show back up. So I don't know, but Kenny Pickett hasn't showed up at all season. So, in my opinion. So,
but then you got you just ate a banana with the peel on, and you were like, you know what? Maybe there is something to this Will Levis guy. And then you woke up this morning, you put that mayonnaise in your coffee with your oats, and here we are. You're a Tennessee Titans.
How do you? I like how you say mayonnaise. Can you say mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise?
You were saying like mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise?
I don't know.
Also,
maybe I just heard you wrong.
Side note: my son watches a lot of Peppa Pig, and obviously they're British.
I've never watched an ounce of it.
It's not bad. For a kid show, it's not bad. But because they're British, now whenever he says potato, he always says potato. Because that's how they say it in British. So he says it because he thinks that's how you say it.
It's funny you say that because I really feel like my daughter, she's gonna end up with Australian New Zealand accent or whatever.
From Bluey?
From watching Bluey constantly.
Yeah.
So
these damn foreign cartoons corrupting our kids, Casino. Am I right?
Am I
right or am I right?
No, you're totally wrong. They're the better cartoons. So
I mean,
they're the ones that kids, actually, they're the ones that actually have good morals and stuff. Is
speaking of
Anna and Elsa are tickling me apparently.
Hey, I mean, you could be tickled by worse. But dang sisters, this is getting too hot for the podcast. But on that note, Casino, I can't think of a Frozen pun. Maybe Frozen Tundra. I don't know. But this week, by far, week 9 in the NFL, minimum, I think 5 marquee games. The 5 marquee games being Dolphins, Chiefs, Seahawks, Ravens, Cowboys, Eagles, and then the Bills, Bengals. So we actually have 4. I thought there was one more, or maybe it was just 4. Yes, I believe it was just those. So 4 marquee games that in any week would probably be the best game on the schedule. But of course, we start with just an abomination when it comes to scheduling, and that is putting the Dolphins at Kansas City in Germany at 6:30 a.m. So, of course, this game will be the famous that NFL loves to do, especially this fucking season, is just putting marquee games. Well, this is the first like marquee game in over an overseas game, so everybody has to wake up early to watch it. But this one might actually be worth watching. So we have the 6-2 Miami Dolphins, technically at the 6-2 Kansas City Chiefs. The Dolphins right now rocking the number 1 offense in the league, both in passing and rushing, 20th in defense. Chiefs, the 4th overall offense, 5th in defense, 3rd in passing, and 18th in rushing, which shocks me that they're 18th in rushing because I still think they have no running game whatsoever.
So hold on. I know that we're talking about the Dolphins Chiefs game, right?
Yes.
I just step aside there for those who aren't watching. Yeah. Why? Like this could be a potential AFC Championship game, and yet we're going to put it at 6:30 in the morning just because we want to make the overseas money. Like,
well, that's what it is. It's money. This is
just all money. It's ridiculous. This game should be the night game. This should be the game, or like the afternoon game. Like the highlight afternoon game. Like the fact that this is at 6:30, everybody's going to miss it, and everybody's going to wake up and go, "Oh, I just missed the best game of the probably one of the best games of the year so far."
Well, yeah, but see, the crazy thing with scheduling is this is the early game. Then the 10 a.m. game is Seahawks Ravens. The 1 o'clock game is Cowboys Eagles. And then the Sunday night game is Buffalo at Cincinnati. So all 4 like marquee matchups are all at different times, which I do like. Okay, but also the Monday night game is Chargers at Jets. How the fuck was the Monday night game not Dolphins Chiefs? Right? Like when you're putting the schedule together, that game is not Fox game of the week.
They said they were going to flex so many games this week, this year. So come on.
But yeah, so we get fucked by the scheduling gods that this is first off, it's an overseas game, which those games are always weird. And then it's 2 of the best teams right now in the AFC, maybe in the entire NFL. We have the Dolphins Chiefs casino. So with all that buildup, who are you picking and why?
Well, remember I did say Dolphins, right? Last week.
Believe you did last podcast.
Yeah, I did because I even though I like the Chiefs, I just think that the speed because yes, honey, I love you. The Chiefs have been almost getting by on a lot of their games, and like a lot of their games that they have been playing, haven't been games that have been. I mean, they played the Vikings and they got by, like they barely won that one. They got beat by the Broncos. They just got beat by the Broncos, and even when they played the Broncos the first time around, that was still only a 2-possession game. It was 8-19, so like, it wasn't like it was crazy. They barely beat the Jets. Obviously, they dominated the Bears. They couldn't put up numbers against the Jags. That ended 17-9. And then they got beat by the Lions. Like they're a struggling team, and they've been losing to the better teams. Like, well, they lost to the Lions, and then the Broncos aren't a better team, but they haven't been blowing teams out unless it was the bad teams. And I just feel like they're going to struggle finally playing a super elite team. Like out of all of those teams that I named, the best team that they have played has been the Lions. I mean,
who they lost to.
Yeah, Lions, Jags, Bears, Jets, Vikings, Broncos, Chargers, Broncos. Okay, that's not that hard. That's an easy schedule with how this year has been playing out.
Well, and remember, coming into this season, they had like the 5th hardest strength of schedule. Like, when does that start? when do they start getting hard games? I guess this one? Like, this is the start of
again,
their hard
a lot of
schedule?
people. You are an airplane? Yeah. Oh, so you got the neck pillow, and it's like you're on an airplane. Oh, you are an airplane. Have fun.
Airplanes don't need neck pillows.
No, but I don't know.
She's fantasy. I don't understand.
Yeah, she's just being silly. But yeah, the Dolphins, on the other hand, they've actually been playing, tough teams. So let's look at their past. Like I know I'm kind of diving in here. Bye, I love you. I guess they haven't played a lot of tough teams. They've played,
but see, what you can say the same thing you said about the Chiefs about the Dolphins, which is the two hard teams they've had to face. They lost to both of them.
Eagles. And
Bills. They got smacked by the Eagles, and then they got run over by the Bills.
That's fair. But I don't know. I guess you could throw out my entire thing right there and just throw it into the.
Well, no, because what you said doesn't. It doesn't not apply to the Chiefs, but what you said also applies to the Dolphins. So It's two teams that when they've actually played competition, they've lost to them. So it becomes the immovable object and the whatever the fuck the other phrase of that saying is. But it really comes down to, do you trust the Dolphins or the Chiefs more? I think more.
Faster speed. My kid's throwing a tantrum. Continue.
I think so. Piggybacking off what Casino said, and everything he did say, I trust the Chiefs more because, again, they lost that Broncos game last week, but that was, as an Eagles fan, that was eerily similar to the Eagles-Jets game, which is Eagles couldn't stop turning over the ball. Jets protected the ball just enough to barely squeak out that game. And then the Broncos-Chiefs game, the Chiefs had, I believe, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles, or maybe it was 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles, or something like that. I know it was 4 or 5 turnovers. The Broncos had, I believe, only 1 turnover. So you won the turnover battle. Broncos barely squeak it out. And then the Dolphins, on the other hand, they got the doors blown off them absolutely twice this season by both the Bills and the Eagles. And again, the Chiefs right now, their offense doesn't feel right. It feels sputtering. It feels like they're looking for a number 1 wide receiver. And that's why they traded for Tony again to get him back. Or no, it wasn't. It was Kadarius Toney, right? I believe so. To get him back and try to find that number 1 wide receiver outside of Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, there's that weird Taylor Swift. When she's at games, he does great. When she's not at games, he doesn't do good. And again, it's one of those things where if it was just a 1 or 2 game example, you'd be like, oh, come on, like we're being ridiculous. But it's been over the whole season. So that's one of those ones where it's like, maybe there is something to this. I don't know. Maybe you just, as a dude, you always try harder when the chick that you're with or trying to get with is watching. So maybe it's that weird dude machismo thing where he just tries harder, but then he's already a Hall of Famer. I don't know. We can dive into the Kelce Swift conspiracy theory later, but for all the reasons both of us have said, I just think we've seen more evidence of the Chiefs playing tough opponents. Tough. Obviously, last week it was like, oh my God, this is the first time in Mahomes' whole career he's lost by more than 8 points or whatever the hell, that stupid stat is that the stat people just always pull out of their ass to make somebody who he knows great, like even greater. Like, it's like, oh, LeBron James he's the first person to ever have 20 points and 2 blocks and a steal on a Saturday in October. And you're just like, cool. Like, that's not a stat. It is, but it's like one where nobody gives a shit about that. But again, Mahomes is great. The Chiefs defense, I think, will be the deciding factor in this. Obviously, this is the first time that Tyreek Hill is playing against his former team. So I do think you have to factor in revenge game, but I think I'm picking Chiefs.
I'm picking Dolphins. After all of that, thank you. For all those who are looking to have kids, go drink on it. Go drink on it.
Next up, Casino, is Not a marquee game, but I still think it's an interesting one, especially after the sad news that Kirk Cousins is now out for the season, and they traded for Joshua Dobbs. So we have the
they're going to start Jaron Hall.
Minnesota Vikings versus the Atlanta Falcons. Who you got for this one, Casino?
Oh man, I would probably have gone Minnesota Vikings, but obviously you got the rookie Hall coming in. Dobbs will not be ready.
So he is going to be the quarterback.
As from what I just pulled up, it's saying that he's the starter. They're going to start him. That doesn't mean Dobbs won't come in and get some reps in, but
yeah,
I'm sure at this point the Minnesota Vikings are like, this year's kind of a wash. Let's just, or at least this game. So let's try to figure it out. So I'm going Falcons. I think the Falcons actually double up on them. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be like crazy double up. I think we're looking at maybe 24 to 10 or something like that. Kind of where I'm leaning.
Yeah. I'm picking Falcons as well, because when you look at the Vikings team this season, they have the second best passing offense in the entire league. And now they just lost Kirk Cousins and they still don't have Justin Jefferson. So you're asking a rookie quarterback to step in and try to basically hold their team together that is already depleted, and they are rocking right now the 29th ranked rushing offense. So you literally have, bless you, you have no rushing attack to lean on. You have now your passing attack is severely depleted because of Jefferson and Kirk Cousins. And then you have the 17th ranked defense in the league. So you're going up against a Falcons team that shockingly at 4-4, both these teams are 4-4. The Falcons are a top 10 defense, a top 10 rushing attack, and they're 13th and 14th in the league in offense and passing. So you literally have a Falcons team that, but again, Desmond Ridder, is he going to start this game?
No,
I don't know.
That's what I was going to say. I think Heineke gets in there. I think this is going to just pretty much be a battle of the backup quarterbacks, but I will take Heineke all day over a rookie quarterback.
As will I. We're both picking the Falcons. Also, I trust Heineke. I've seen Heineke play good games, and they have a running attack to fall back on. Now, Drake London is going to be out of this game, so that's a huge blow for the Falcons. But hey, how about for just one time in his career, Kyle Pitts actually has a good game? So when he's the only option in a passing attack, when your lead receiver's down and your quarterback is benched now, Heineke, just throw it to Kyle Pitts 20 times and try to get him 10 receptions for 100 yards. For every fantasy owner of him who's ever drafted him. I didn't this year because I've been fooled once before, but it's just so we're both picking Falcons. Next one, second marquee game of the day, the 5-2 Seattle Seahawks at the 6-2 Baltimore Ravens. This one's going to be a good one, Casino. Who you got on this one?
Oh man. I think it's going to be a fun game, but I'm going to take the Ravens. Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens. I just think that they're starting to click with that healthy, that healthy core now. I mean, Seattle's defense, they has been improving every week. I mean, they just pulled in. Oh, jeez, my dog. Of course, right?
So that Seahawks defense is improving. And remember, we talked about last year, this Seattle Seahawks team, if they actually got a defense, how deadly they could be.
Right.
Well,
and, I mean, they just traded for Leonard Williams, which
that was one
out. That was huge.
That was a signing we didn't talk about last.
Right.
We talked about that, but yeah, that was a big one. And at this moment, remember last year, the Seahawks finished as, I believe, the 31st ranked defense in the league. So far this year, they are 7th.
Yeah, so I do like the Seahawks a lot. I really do. I think I think come playoff time, they're going to be a real interesting team to watch. Because like I said, I still have them. I have them making the playoffs, but right now, Baltimore, I think, is one of the team in the AFC that I can count on the most right now to win a game.
Yeah.
Over the Chiefs, over the Dolphins, over the Bills. Like I feel like they're the team that I can go, yeah, I think they got it. I think I can just trust them this week.
They definitely feel like they're, if not hitting their peak, like racing towards it, because at the moment right now, they have a top 10 offense and they're a number 3 in the league in total defense. So, and with what you've seen against them last week, they played no, it wasn't last week when they played no, that was the Dolphins. I'm sorry. But this Ravens team, it just feels like every time they're in a game, they can kind of just do whatever they want. They can run on you, they can pass on you, they can play great defense, and they can really control the tempo of the games they play. I do really like the Seahawks team, but their offense right now, especially the passing offense, isn't kind of what it was last year. Now, that might be Geno Smith. It's also DK Metcalf has kind of regressed in terms of just being like a guy you have to plan against and worry about. And then there's all that weird shit where he's like fighting guys on the defense in like multiple games this season. And it just, I don't know, something about that feels weird. But that's not saying that's I'm not off the Seahawks bandwagon, but I just think right now at this moment, I agree with you. I just think Baltimore feels
that it's
like
roid rage. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, they have roid rage, and it feels like the Ravens are in contention for best team in the league. But let's move on to a far less interesting game, Casino, that we do not have to talk about because I have no interest in it whatsoever. The 1-7
But the lead up has
Arizona.
been great.
Yeah, the 1-7 Arizona Cardinals at the 4-3 Browns.
They get destroyed.
I also think, especially the Cardinals were like, hey, Dobbs is actually doing way better than we thought he would. So let's immediately get rid of him. And we'll just, they are tanking.
And so now they're getting Clayton Tune coming in to fill in.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where it's like, everybody's like, oh, when NFL teams tank, should the league step in? This is 100% a tank job. There's no question about it. And it's still funny that their one loss was against the Dallas Cowboys, but that's just because we're Cowboys haters.
Their one win.
And that's great. Or yes, their one win. Browns right now still have the number 1 defense in the league. Their passing attack is abysmal. Is Deshaun Watson playing for this game? Who fucking knows? Because even if he says he is, yeah. But even if he says he is, 10 minutes before the game starts, he could just decide he doesn't want to. And I'm so glad, though, that Deshaun Watson whole situation immediately blew up in Cleveland's face because they were stupid to do it in the first place. And if they just had a competent quarterback right now, they would potentially be one of the best teams in the AFC. So, fuck you, Deshaun Watson and the Browns. You're dumb. Everybody told you were dumb and you thought you were the smartest guy in the room. And turns out you're dumb. Let's move on to the next game. We're both picking the Browns on that one. This one might be interesting. The 3-5 Los Angeles Rams at the 2-5 Green Bay Packers. For some reason, I like this Rams team. Their passing attack is 7th in the league. Their total offense is 8th in the league. Their defense is 21st. I feel like they're kind of Seattle of last year without the wins, where if they could just figure out something on defense, I actually kind of like their offense, but their defense feels way worse than 21st in the league. And on the other end, Green Bay Packers, the Jordan Love experiment has failed.
They fizzled into nothing. It's so bad. But oddly enough, you know what? I'm going Packers. I think they have, I mean, if they want any luck this year, like they have to win now. Plus, Matthew Stafford's a little dinged up, so we'll see how that goes. I'm just gonna go Packers this time. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I miss eating at one of my favorite places in town, and it's a Packers bar. So maybe I'm
Big
just feeling
dogs.
nostalgia.
Big dogs. Big dogs
Dude,
is
their food has been good for 32 years. My
yeah.
entire life, I've enjoyed their food,
I,
man.
I've never had a bad meal there.
Dude,
And you know
but
what?
the one
Packers
thing that I
fans
do hate that
always
they
very
still do
nice.
they do the beer cheese soup. It's a Wisconsin bar for those who don't know. It's they do a beer cheese soup that's really good, but they long time ago they used to do it in a sourdough bread bowl. It
Ooh.
was the greatest thing in Vegas. Oh,
Uh,
so good. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm going Green Bay just because now I want to go eat there. Plus, I'm on a diet. I've been eating Insta oats.
I mean, no, I completely agree. Only thing to write home about with this Packers team is they're 11th in defense. So if you just gave this Rams team this Packers defense, they might actually be a pretty formidable team. But at the moment, that is not happening. So I'm actually going Rams while you're going Packers. Yeah, just because I trust this Rams team way more than I trust this Packers team, who started hot this season and then immediately fizzled out. But let's move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 3-4 Tampa Bay Bucks at the 3-4 Houston Texans. Thoughts on this one, Casino?
What happened to the Bucks, man? They fizzled out pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, I mean, tell me about it.
I think this is almost a damn near pick 'em. And I'm just gonna have to go with my starting quarterback in my fantasy league, in my fantasy team. Let's go Bucks. Baker Mayfield is my starting quarterback because Goff is on a bye. Let's go Bucks.
Yeah, I like this Buccaneers team at the beginning of the season, but like you said, they have fallen off the wagon. They are the worst rushing team in the league. Their defense has kind of also fallen off because I believe they were a top 5 defense. Now they've kind of slipped down to 13th in the league. That being said, I like this Texans team. I don't know why. I
Are we
like
really just
CJ
picking? We're
Stroud.
really getting different picks this week. I like it.
Yeah. So I'm picking the Texans just because I think, yeah, the Bucks, we both like Baker Mayfield. I think we both like CJ Stroud, but at the
I do
moment,
like Stroud.
I just think Texans are kind of on the rise. Why Bucks feel like they're kind of deflating a little. So yeah, I'm just doing that one. So you're picking Bucks, I'm picking Texans. We're rolling through these games. It is also crazy that it has 4 marquee games and then every other game is kind of dog shit. Like all these matchups are just ugh. Like this one in with your team, Casino, the 3-5 Washington Commanders go to Foxborough to versus your Mac Jones led New England Patriots that are
Woo!
2-6. Who you got in this one, Casino?
I'm going the Pats.
Why?
Why? Well, there's a lot of defensive issues going on with Washington right now. They just traded away both their top edge rushers, two of their top edge rushers. Yeah, their 2 top edge rushers. That was a mouthful. Woof. But yeah, they traded them away. I think that gives Mac a little more time to throw the football. Yeah, I just feel like this defense, they're both bad teams, but I feel like this defense is for the Commanders is a little bit more in disarray, and the Patriots defense is starting to get better because people have started to come back a little bit. For the ones that we are able to get back that aren't on long term. And then Patriots are playing at home, and they're Bill Belichick. So I go with the 2 bad team. My kid screaming? No, it's my baby screaming. My wife can take care of that. She's got the boobs. She's got the food. Anyway, so I'm going the Patriots on this one. I'm not going to say like this is going to be a barn burner and we're just going to have like a one. We're not going to have a shootout here. So I'm going the Patriots just because I feel like Washington has traded away and they've pretty much given up.
Yeah. We're differing a lot this week because I am going with the Commanders.
I know the
think,
Patriots have been bad, but I mean, I don't know, man.
yeah. I just have seen the Commanders twice this year play the Eagles pretty tough, and I just trust that they're 10th in the league in passing. I need their running back to start being better so I can justify that trade in my fantasy league. I don't trust Mac Jones.
No.
This Patriots defense, I liked a lot at the beginning of the season, and they really have been below my expectations.
Sorry, honey.
And I don't know, just both these teams kind of feel like lame duck franchises this season where there's no, like, I don't know what the upside is on either of these. I guess on the Commanders, it's that Eric Bieniemy is there. And I mean, how many losses do the Commanders have to take this season before they just let go of Ron Rivera and just promote Bieniemy to the head coach? Because I think he will actually be a pretty damn good head coach. Hence why the Commanders actually have a passing attack this year, and he's made Sam Howell look like, I mean, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And it's Sam Howell, a guy that I think before the season was ranked like 32nd in terms of, what all the experts were saying he was at quarterback, and now he's leading the league as a top 10 passer. So I'm picking the Commanders. That's basic. I just trust this Commanders team slightly more than I trust this Patriots team. Next up, Casino. The 2-6 Chicago Bears travel to the 4-4 New Orleans Saints. I'll go first on this one. I'm picking the Saints, but I think we've mentioned this before. The Saints are so hot and cold this season that either they kind of feel like the poor man's less talented Miami Dolphins team, which is, I feel like every game they're either going to blow somebody out or get blown out. And I don't know which one it will be. Derek Carr has that thing where he's just like on like 2 games in a row, and then he'll be off for 3 games, and people will be like, what's the matter with Derek Carr? And then he'll come out the next week and throw 3 touchdowns and have like a damn near perfect passer rating. So I don't know. I just, also the Bears are just an absolute dumpster fire. I don't believe Justin Fields will be back for this game, but even if he is coming off injury,
I was on mute. But yeah, no, Justin Fields is out for this game.
Then yeah, I'm picking.
I'm a growing Saint. I agree with you, and the whole Carr thing is right. Like, I struggled. I had him as one of my QBs in my fantasy league, but then I got rid of him because I just can't trust that. I can't go with that. I'd rather go with somebody that's more steady. Like, I know what they're going to give me every week, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the Bears, that Bagant guy or whatever, I watched that Sunday night game against the Chargers. I feel like there's some guys you could just tell, like, don't have it. He does not have it. I don't care how much Chris Collinsworth tried to, like, give him like his props and kind of try to build him up. Also, that Bears offense has nothing for him to work with. So I don't even know if it's his fault, but in this situation, there's no fucking way. Next up, the 3-5 Indianapolis Colts at the 1-6 Carolina Panthers. Panthers coming off their first win of the season. Shockingly, this Carolina Panthers team is 1-6, but they have the 4th best total defense in the league. And why they are 1-6 is they have the 30th offense in the league. So they have no offense whatsoever.
And you know what? And it's funny you say that I am actually going to pick the Panthers this week.
Whoa.
Yep. Yeah.
Please explain.
Please explain. Oh no. What am I? So, I mean, the Panthers, they're coming off a win. That makes them feel good, first off and foremost. I really feel like, again, the Colts defense has some major issues going. A lot I have to deal with is I'm not going to say the Panthers are going to run away with this by any means. I have this game being in the teens probably. But Gardner Minshew, I like him, but I don't feel like this offense fits well with him. And I think the Panthers get their second win. I do.
uh,
And this is gonna be my least favorite game to watch. I will not watch an ounce of this game. I'll check the score.
Yeah, 100%. But I trust Shane Steichen, who is the Colts head coach. He was the Eagles offensive coordinator last year. This Colts offense right now, 11th in the league in passing, 9th in the league of rushing. They legitimately have 2 running backs with Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss at the moment. And then Gardner Minshew, again, he's going to lose you some games, but he's going to win more than he loses. He's also kind of like the poor man's Derek Carr. He'll have 1 or 2 bad games and then just rail off 3 bangers in a row. And you're like, oh man. And then the second you believe in him, he rips the rug out from under your feet. So at the moment, I believe in Gardner Minshew. And yeah, I just think this Carolina Panthers team, I just don't think they can score. I don't know where their points are coming from. So I feel like
I said the teens.
Yeah, this has like 17-3 or 17-10 written all over it. Miles Sanders also with the Panthers. I was like, how's Miles Sanders doing this season? Literally thought that and looked it up yesterday. Not good. Not good at all. So he disappeared from the Eagles last year, and now he's on this Carolina Panthers team where he's having a rough season. So I'm picking the Colts over the Panthers. Let's move on to contention for worst game of the week. The 2-6 New York Giants at the 3-5 Las Vegas Raiders. This is where we talk about the Raiders firing their GM and Josh McDaniels this week. They also decided to start Aiden O'Connell, the rookie we talked about during the preseason, who was fucking lighting it up.
I have no idea.
So Jimmy G is benched, new coach, new general manager for this game, Casino. There is also, I watched an interesting video on YouTube. You can find it if you search it. I don't remember the exact title, but it was them making the case that Josh McDaniels is actually the worst head coach in NFL history. Kind of a compelling case. So
he's the only he's the only coach to be. I know I don't know if other coaches have, but I know that he's at least tied with the coaches that have been. But I think he is the only coach to have ever been let go before the season ends twice.
Yeah, and I also think we maybe need to call in his offensive play calling, because
I'm all for that. I've told you I never liked it. It was Brady that ran that offense. It was not. Yeah. It was not McDaniels.
I think Brady might have been. Remember when Brady and Belichick split up, and then even you can throw Josh McDaniels in there, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's a 50-50 partnership." I think we're seeing that maybe we might underestimate the greatness of Tom Brady post Tom Brady.
I'm not. I knew what it was. What it was. And you know, and then I still have that argument with everybody though. It was like Belichick was nothing without Brady. Well, Brady is nothing without Belichick. Look what happened. Yes, he did go win a Super Bowl, but after that, when that defense started not being what it should be, what started happening? They were mediocre. Brady's a great offensive player and mind, and he can run an offense. But you also have to have the defensive end of it as well. And what has Belichick been missing? The offense. What did Brady miss those last 2 years? Defense. So it was
a perfect marriage.
It was. And you know, until a Tybo instructor or whatever it was. we're talking about Bill, not Brady. Got
it. But Giants and Raiders, I don't know. I don't trust the Giants.
Who do you want?
I'm picking Raiders.
I'll pick Giants.
Okay. Well, just to make that game slightly interesting. The Giants, on the other hand, they played well against the Bills. They played well last week. Who did they play last week?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't care enough to look, but I know for the past couple weeks, there's 2-6, but they haven't looked that bad. But I'm picking Raiders, new regime, hometown team. I don't fucking know. Just go Raiders, I guess. Next up, Casino. Actually, before we talk about the last 2 marquee games, let's talk about the Monday night game. Los Angeles Chargers at New York Jets. The Chargers are 3-4. Shockingly, the Jets, led by that motherfucker, our favorite quarterback in the world, Zach Wilson, 4-3. So, who you picking in this one, Casino?
I want to say Chargers because I want my continued pick to be right, but about them being okay this year. But no, I'm going Jets. Jets, Jets.
I am also going Jets. You know, I'm already off. I've been off the bandwagon for the Chargers pretty much since the start of the season. I just think they need a new head coach.
You were the one to push them down the hill.
Yeah, I'm off. I never was on the Chargers bandwagon, but every year we do this thing with the Chargers where we have to suck off Herbert and be like, this is the best team. If only they can do something with like to help Herbert. And then they never help Herbert. And it's always a mediocre team that always is like middling 8-9, 9-8, whatever. Their offense is 17th in the league. They're 26 in total defense. The Jets, on the other hand, 6th in the league in total defense, 32nd in offense. So the Jets have the worst offense in the league and a top 6 defense. I'm picking the Jets and especially this being Monday night. I don't know why the league keeps forcing the Chargers to have these primetime games. This just feels like one of those weird Monday night games where it's in the Meadowlands. The Jets do something weird to win in the fourth quarter. I don't know. I'm picking Jets. Let's go. Last 2 games of the day, and they're 2 of the biggest. In the NFC, it is the 5-2 Dallas Cowboys traveling to Philadelphia to face the 7-1 Eagles. Who you got, Casino?
Eagles all day. I don't understand how people are wanting or saying the Cowboys are going to do this. Like, I truly think like that line is going to eat up Dak Prescott. I think they're just going to absolutely destroy him.
Yeah. Well, also the tail of the tape, and I keep seeing this dumb take, which is the 3 common opponents the Eagles and Cowboys have played. The Cowboys have smoked them all, and the Eagles have just pulled out narrow victories, except for the Jets game. Now, what people fail to realize about this comparison, and what I never see pointed out, is the 3 blowouts the Cowboys won, all at home. The 3 close victories the Eagles won, including the 1 loss to the Jets, were all on the road. So where is this game taking place? It's taking place for the Cowboys on the road. So the Cowboys this season, when they've been on the road, Casino, they have beat the Giants 40-0. Pretty good. They lost to the Cardinals 28-16. Maybe still at this point, the worst loss of a season by any team, right? Because again, the Cardinals are 1-7, this being their 1 win. Do we remember when the Cowboys went to the 49ers? They lost 42-10. When they went to San Diego to play this Chargers team we just said is a bad team, they win 20-17. So every road game this year, they had 1 blowout. They lost to the worst team in the league. They got blown out by a 49ers team that might not be as good as we thought they were originally and only started being bad right after this game. And then they narrowly beat a Chargers team that, again, basically has had issues this entire season. So this game is taking place in Dallas. We can have these conversations about when they play the second time this season, where it's like, oh, the Cowboys at home, different animal than when they're on the road. When the Cowboys have been on the road this season, they have looked like a completely different team. And when you come into this game, Eagles, a top 3 offense in the league, both in passing and rushing. So we can throw out the narrative that it was a 1-year wonder for Hurts and he's not an elite passer, because at this moment, it's like Lamar, it's Lamar, and then it's Hurts, Mahomes. It's like those three are the ones playing elite football at the moment. The Cowboys, on the other hand, have the second best defense in the league, but their offense is 20th in passing, 19th in rushing. I kept hearing so much before the season started about how Tony Pollard is just going to blow up and be the best running back in the league.
We thought he was going to be damn good, but
he's been a serviceable running back that nobody really talks about. And then there's this debate this season, and I've seen it on so many Facebook or Twitter or Reddit posts where it's just like, CeeDee Lamb is actually not that much worse or not that much better than AJ Brown. And it's like, we're saying that in the context of AJ Brown just did something no wide receiver has ever done in the history of the NFL, not the past couple years, the history of the entire league, which is have over 125 yards, and I believe it's 6 games in a row. CeeDee Lamb has had 2 games this year where he's had over 100 yards. So in the month of October, AJ Brown...
I'm sorry, but I love when you do these rants because it's
just all bent up. It's so bent up.
It's the Cowboys. It's just the Cowboys. Everybody's going to love and suck the Cowboy dick. It is what it is.
It's just annoying. Like, and that being said, I don't think this game is going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be 49ers.
Are the Cowboys a good team when they need to be? Sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, to give credit to the Cowboys, Dak Prescott is 8-3 against the Eagles since he came into the league. So when he plays against the Eagles, he wins the majority of the time. But that being said, he's not played this team. And this team at the moment, again, the Cowboys have the second-ranked defense, but you can run on this Cowboys team. That's how the Cardinals won. That's how the 49ers won. You've also seen you can pass on this team. That's how the 49ers won. There's nobody in that in that Cowboys secondary who can stop AJ Brown. And then you also have to worry about Devontae Smith and Goddard. And then you have to worry about the legs of Hurts. And again, if this is a weird fluky turnover battle, then whoever team has the least amount of turnovers is going to win. That's in every football game ever. So if we want to take out the 2 worst games both these teams have played, there's still worse teams or worse games that the Cowboys have played than the Eagles have. And the Eagles, I think in Philadelphia, I'm picking the Cowboys for the reverse jinx casino, but I wholeheartedly believe this Eagles team will win. Who are you picking?
I'm picking the Eagles.
Do you anything to add on this game, or can we move on to the last one?
We can move on. You did enough.
Yeah, I was saving all the mental energy for when I saw this game to just click. But last but not least, that was the game we just talked about, marquee game in the NFC. There's 2 marquee games in the AFC this week. We start Sunday with Chiefs Dolphins. We end Sunday with the 5-3 Buffalo Bills at the 4-3 Cincinnati Bengals, a rematch of last year's game that ended up not happening because of the whole Damar Hamlin situation. So you look at it on paper, Casino. The Bills right now, 5th in total offense, 4th in passing, 13th in rushing. The Bengals, on the other hand, 31st in offense, 18th on defense. But I don't know, man. That just doesn't. This Bengals team feels a lot different than they were 2-3 weeks ago. I think Joe
Burrow is healed up.
Yeah. And I think this offense is about to start clicking. But that being said, who you picking?
With that being said, I'm going to go Cincy.
Yeah,
I mean, the Bills are getting some extra time to prepare because when they had that, they had the Thursday night game, so they have a few extra. 3 days extra to prepare than Cincinnati? But I like how Joe Burrow has been coming back. He looks like he's starting to figure his offense out again. It feels like that his calf is healed up a bit. Yeah, I think Cincy's gonna turn some heads here.
Yeah, I do think this is the official like Bengals are back. I said that on the last podcast after their victory against
But
the
then again,
49ers.
the Bills need to win this one because of last week.
Yeah, I just don't like what I've seen. It's polar opposites. I've hated from what I've seen from the Bills the past couple weeks. I've loved what I've seen from the Bengals. I also think I watched all that Bengals 49ers game in
I
the
mean,
replay or
yeah,
whatever. The Joe Burrow looked really damn good and he looked surgical. He
that's
just
fair.
picked that 49ers defense
I mean,
apart.
and yeah, I mean, and the Bills, winning last week against Tampa, but it wasn't pretty.
No. And then they had that Giants game they
And then
should have
and then
lost.
they should have lost the Giants. They lost to lost to the Patriots, and they've lost to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And I don't think two of those teams are good. Or I don't think any of those teams are good. You know how I feel about Jacksonville. I don't think Jacksonville's good at all. But that being said, we're both picking the Bengals. That's our picks for the week. A lot of different picks, Casino. A lot more than I thought we would. And especially in games where I didn't think we would disagree. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different games. So this is going to be either a good week for one of us or a bad week for both of us potentially. But yeah, with that said, we got about 10 minutes before we have to wrap this up, Casino. So you want to just touch on what my coworker unprompted said was the least hyped World Series matchup in his lifetime, which that's really how it felt. I feel like no one gave a single fuck about this Major League Baseball World Series.
but yeah, they're true. But there was some cool stories coming out of this. Well, first off, Rangers win. The Rangers have won. They won uh, four games to one. They did it. They pretty much, outside of that one lopsided Arizona game, that this wasn't even fun. Like, it wasn't even fun. But some cool things did come out of it. The Rangers, Texas Rangers, they, as a sports fan, like, I hate Texas teams, but as a sports fan, this is fun to see that the Rangers actually won their first title in franchise history. That's cool. That's just something special for a team in general. But I think the coolest one was the left-handed pitcher, great name, Will Smith. He became the first player in MLB history to win 3 straight World Series rings with 3 different teams.
Damn.
That's
Yeah.
pretty legit.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's
Congrats
pretty
to the
cool.
Rangers. I'm sorry I came in negative and hot, all you Rangers fans. I just don't think I don't even think it would have been, if it was Rangers Phillies, I'm not saying that would have been like, best matchup of all time. I just think that, yeah, it just wasn't. I just don't think there
But
was
yeah,
anything there for the casual fan, which is what I
no.
am. But
But it was cool though because
keep going.
he won in 2001 with the Braves, and in 22 with the Astros, and then this year with the Rangers. So that's pretty legit. You might be doing something right if you're winning 3 World Series in a row with 3 different teams. Like, when are one of these teams going to be like, yo, we're gonna keep you?
Yeah. Or the next team that signs him is just like, all right, here we go. Here we go.
And now he's past his prime.
But last bit of talk on the MLB is, do you think, especially this postseason run, do you think it devalued the regular season, especially with this Rangers team winning when they finished the season as what? It
No,
was
I don't think it devalues, because both of these teams were good throughout the regular season, especially at certain parts in the season. So, like, Arizona was leading the league at one point. So, no, I don't. Again, it's what I love about hockey is get to the playoffs and anything can happen, kind of thing. Yeah, last year it was, an 8 seed that made it to the finals. It's still, they lost to the Knights, but they made it. And then even in like basketball, you had the Miami. It's like, but Miami wasn't a bad team. Neither were the Panthers. Like, make the playoffs. Anything can happen, but you have to be good enough in the regular season. It's not like the people making the postseason are just schmucks. So, I mean, these were both good teams.
Well, yeah, the Rangers were a 90-win team during the regular season. And interestingly enough, in away games, they were 40-41. And then during the playoffs, they were undefeated on the road.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's another cool stat is they were undefeated on the road in the playoffs. That's awesome. Well done.
Especially after going 40-41 during the regular season. That's crazy. But yeah, we're both Texas haters, but still, I like to see franchises who haven't won in what? I think they said the Rangers haven't won a World Series since the 60s or something like that. So it's cool that they won one. Congrats to the Rangers and Rangers fans. Let's dip over to college football real quick, Casino, and we'll get that in before we get out of here. Last week, the big upset was Oklahoma falling to, it was Kansas, correct? I believe it was Kansas. I watched that game. It was pretty damn cool. Kansas did beat Oklahoma 38-33. This week we have, I don't want to say a big marquee matchups, but there's some good, interesting matchups. We have number 1 Georgia, number 14 Missouri. We have number 5 Washington at USC. We have LSU, Alabama, and then we have number 16 Oregon State going into Colorado, which obviously I think the bloom is off the rose with Colorado, but they're still worth talking about just because I feel like any given Saturday they can beat somebody, but that hasn't been the case in the past. So which of these games you most looking forward to, and you sniffing any upsets?
Honestly, I wasn't paying attention to anything you just said because I was you sent me a super awesome thing about a game that I love. And so, yeah.
Also, Kansas State, Texas.
What were the two teams, or what were the teams? And because I have been following.
Damn you, Casino.
I'm sorry.
Missouri.
You know I love this game, and I haven't played it in a long time, and I was thinking about playing it again recently, and then you do that to me.
Apparently, we're talking about Overwatch 2. I don't know why we're trying to sneakily talk about it, but we're talking about Overwatch 2. They just added a new tank character. Apparently, they're adding a new support, new DPS. So we haven't played it since they switched it over to Overwatch 2. Maybe it's time to dip our toe back in, Casino. Maybe.
Anyway, so which games were we asking? You're at Kansas State versus Texas.
LSU, Alabama. There's Purdue, Michigan. There's Washington, USC. There's Missouri, Georgia. LSU, Alabama. Just any of these games you sniff an upset, and then Kansas State, Texas.
All day, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. Just because Oklahoma did lose. And now you're going up against the in-state rival for their trophy. That can smell upset all day. So that's going to be a tough one. And then I don't know if you want to call it an upset, LSU versus Alabama. I'm going LSU just because I just want Alabama to lose. And Alabama hasn't played phenomenal football this year. I know the Tigers have lost 2, and and Bama's only lost 1, but I just don't sometimes when I watch Alabama lately, I feel like they've just given up. I feel like Saban's like, okay, I'm at the end of my career. Just going to kind of ride out a few more years and call it a career. I mean, the dude's old.
Yeah, I also feel like it feels like he's kind of just punting on this season because, again, like you said, I don't think they have the team to be in the playoffs. They're obviously ranked 8th. They're playing LSU. I also agree with you. I think LSU wins. I think Kansas State has a chance against Texas. I think my pick at the beginning of the year where I said Georgia wasn't that good has been proven 100% wrong. They have looked amazing, especially since I've said that. Also, in the NBA, remember I was like, oh man, that Damian Lillard on the Bucks looks perfect. Literally the day after I said that, they have had nothing but bad games with him
but
on the
how
team.
about, dude, how about we got to talk about it. How about Boston's historic fucking beatdown? Oh my God. Dude, they had was it 6 players in double digits or something like that?
Yeah. And they won by, I believe, 50 points. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then
it was something insane. They
and then
scored
James,
so you don't know, they scored like 150 something to like 100. It was absolutely insane. Jason Tatum put like 30 points up in like 26 minutes. It was outrageous.
That's crazy.
Outrageous. Dude, I mean, I know we like the Bucks, but I think Boston with like Porzingis over there now, like having that big guy down low. Oh, I think it changes the entire team.
To end the college football talk, Casino, I'm doing my upset pick. My upset pick is, I believe, 2 of them fall. And if I can find which one I was just looking at, yes. I believe Arizona beats UCLA. Arizona's unranked. UCLA's 20th. I've seen a lot of Arizona games for whatever fucking reason this year. I really like how Arizona plays. So I think Arizona beats my UCLA Bruins. I've always loved UCLA. And then I think my second upset, I don't know why, because I don't think they're a good team. I think USC beats Washington. I think Washington is good. I think they're really
Penis
good.
Is too good. Penis is too good.
But Caleb Williams, there's so much hype with him. USC has no defense whatsoever. I feel like USC.
And you're saying that there's not any hype with Penis, dude? Come on.
I mean, he's always hard to beat, but when you beat him, it feels really good, right? So I'm going with USC to beat Washington. This feels like the perfect Pac-12. It happens every year. This time it's switching from Oregon to Washington, where the number 1 team in that conference is always hyped up to the gills because finally a West Coast team is good. And then
quarterbacks coming out of the college football this year. So
yeah. And then they just lose. USC at 24. I feel like they should even be lower, and 7-2. They're not as good as that record. Cause again, they should have lost to Arizona. But yeah, I don't know why. I'm just going gut feeling. I think USC beats Washington, even though I don't want it to happen because I want Washington to be in the playoff. But
penis.
On that note, we have a hard out. And we got to get out of here. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. Casino, anything to say to the people before we get out of here?
Hey, people.
All right. Adios. We'll see you next week. We might be changing the format. I don't know. Just follow us on our YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Music, all that shit. So this has been the Only Sports Podcast. Once again, I'm Will. That's Casino. Adios.